Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dom from Upstate Supernatural, and I'd like to welcome everybody to Live Spirit Frequencies. If you're viewing this on YouTube or on Ustream, you can chat with us if you click down towards the link that's below on the screen there. You just type in www.liveparanormal.com / LPTV chat, and that'll take you right over. In the future, I'll annotate that so that everybody can click on that, and you can just click right on it and bring you right over to the chat. It is free to register on Live Paranormal to chat with us. And as of right now, this is the only way to talk with us live during the show. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. And I'd like to swing over to Scott and James. And down on the bottom, you can kind of see their photos. Yep. And Scott, you're on right now, bud.
Hey everyone, it's me, Scott from My Paranormal Corner. I'm in beautiful Michigan tonight at my friend Rob and Amanda's house. I can't thank them enough for allowing me to be able to broadcast live from here. So we just want to say thank you to Rob and Amanda and Marshall, which is upstairs. They're actually hanging out, relaxing. So thank you again, and welcome everyone in the chat.
And James, we're going to go to you, bud. You're on.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. And thanks for Scott for being able to be with us tonight. Pardon? Or be with us all the way from Michigan there. Much appreciated, Scott. So, anyways, back to you, Dom.
Yeah, and if you guys heard me say back to us, I'm just teaching Jer how to kind of switch between the different camera angles that we're using. Just so you're not thinking there's an anomaly that's going on. And right now we're gonna go ahead and showcase some of the findings that we found from last week's show, and let us know what you think of it. Write a comment, even if it's after the show. You can leave comments in the YouTube chat. You can leave comments on liveparanormal.com, and we'd be happy to answer anything. Check us out on Facebook. We'll also answer any questions you have there too. And it's the top one. Over. Yep. Oh, nope. That one. Yep.
That one.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm hearing I'm doing just fine. That's what I'm hearing.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm hearing I'm doing just fine. That's what I'm hearing.
On that screen. On that screen.
Right there.
Do you just come to visit, or are you always around us? Do you just come to visit, or are you always around us? Were you ever married? And if so, how long? Were you ever married? And if so, how long? Do you ever get frustrated when we try to communicate with you? Do you ever get frustrated when we try to communicate with you?
How are you doing?
And we're back. Those are some of the findings that we found from last week's episode. We actually felt that we found some pretty substantial things from James's end. We definitely heard some great anomalies. And we're going to be switching over to Scott. He's going to go ahead and do a EVP session. He's again in Michigan. You're out there because you're doing the Nick Groff tour with Ohio State Reformatory as well. I don't know if you want to give a shout out for that.
Oh, most definitely. I appreciate that, Dom. I'm actually attending the Nick Groff tour this Saturday at Ohio State Reformatory there with Nick, Katrina, John Tenney, and Dana Newkirk and Greg Newkirk, which their new show, Finding Bigfoot, is actually on currently. So if you have some time to do a shout out to them, I'm sure they'll appreciate it. One of the cool things is I did an EVP session on the plane on my way here, and I was actually able to capture some things. So I'm wondering to see what we'll get, because I don't think they've ever done an EVP session in their home. So this is something new. If it's okay, I just use basically an Olympus recorder. The digital voice recorder, VN7000. I think that's what it is. So without further ado, just so you guys are aware, when we do playback, it will be a little loud.
And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. James, if you don't mind muting yourself as well.
It's already ahead of you.
Good evening, spirits. My name's Scott, and I am on Skype, as well as on YouTube and in the live paranormal chat room. If there are any spirits here in Michigan where I'm at, can you please come forward and say your name? If there's a male spirit currently here at this residence, what is your name? If there is a female spirit here currently, can you tell me what your name is? Now, we are traveling to Ohio State Reformatory, and there was a name that was coming across my recorder when I was there the first time. The inmate that's there, can you come forward and say your name? Would you happen to have a message for anybody that's in the chat room currently? If so, can you say their name and the message? Now, Nick was recently at a location this past week during his live stream on Wednesday. Can you say the name of the location that he was at? Can you tell me how many spirits are currently with James? Can you tell me how many spirits are currently with Dom and who's with Dom? If there was any advice for anybody in the paranormal field, what would be the advice you'd give them? Well, before I end this EVP session, if there's anything you'd like to say, please feel free to say it loud and clearly. Alrighty. And just so everyone's aware again, I'm going to stop the recorder. And this may be a little loud, so you might want to start out fairly low and then increase the sound as we play it back. Good evening, spirits. My name's Scott, and I am on Skype, as well as on YouTube and in the live paranormal chat room. If there are any spirits here in Michigan where I'm at, can you please come forward and say your name? Right there. Can you please come forward and say your name? There's a male spirit currently here at this residence. What is your name? Right, what is your name? Clear. What is your name? If there is a female spirit here currently, can you tell me what your name is? Now we are traveling to Ohio State Reformatory, and there was a name that was coming across my recorder when I was there the first time. The inmate that's there, can you come forward and say your name? Would you happen to have a message for anybody that's in the chat room currently? If so, can you say their name and the message? Nick was recently at a location this past week during his live stream on Wednesday. Can you say the name of the location that he was at?
There's something within that.
On Wednesday, can you say the name of the location that he was at? Can you tell me? Can you tell me how many spirits are currently with James? Can you tell? Can you tell me how many spirits are currently with Dom and who's with Dom?
Right there.
Can you tell me how many spirits are currently with Dom and who's with Dom? If there was any advice for anybody in the paranormal field, what would be the advice you'd give them? Well, before I end this EVP session, if there's anything you'd like to say, please feel free to say it loud and clearly. Already, and just already, and just so everyone's aware again, I'm going to stop the recorder,
And Don, that's everything I've got. Back to you.
Alrighty, just turn the audio back on for us, and we're going to go ahead and switch over. We're going to do some water ITC. We're going to switch it up a little bit. Kind of what we did with the spirit writing. I think we should try to test out a little bit more how we were sort of doing that. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to be, stirring the water, taking photos. But we're going to pan it over to James doing the audio, having him ask questions. And if he's able to view the chat, I can try to revert questions in there for him as well. And anybody that's viewing, feel free to post questions within the chat. It'd be very helpful. Sometimes when we're doing this, we've asked so many questions, we kind of forget the ones we've already asked. So, I mean, we want to make sure we're asking new, vibrant questions every time we're doing this. So we can't stress enough, if you guys could type in the chat to let us know other questions that we haven't asked that you would like us to ask, we would appreciate it more than anything. And that's with any of the shows that we do, whether it's an interview or anything else. Let us know the type of stuff that you would like us to ask, and we'll try to get that out there. We'll try to ask the questions and see what we can do with it. But we're going to go ahead and switch over right now. So we're going to mute up, and then Scott, if you want to mute up, James, it'll be you with the audio.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Sounds good.
I did change the brightness on this for everybody. Maybe by changing the brightness, it may allow for better results. Just a theory, just something to try out.
Okay. Hi, my name is James. I'd like to try to see if I can communicate with you tonight. The first thing I'd like to ask, is there anybody around any of us right now, Dom, Scott, or I? Now, how many people would be around us right now? Are you male or female? Could you please tell me your age? Tell me a bit about yourself. What were your favorite hobbies to do? Is there anyone in particular that you're looking for, or are you just around? What do you think of this water ITC? Do you find it hard to try to manifest and make yourself appear in the water? Now, is there anyone out with Scott there in Michigan right now? Would you please be able to tell me your name? Do you know Scott at all? Do you look forward to communicating with him? No. I wanted to ask you, how old are you? Did you have any pets or any favorite animals that you used to love? Sorry, that's me pulling my chair in. Now, is there anybody in the chat room that you know you'd like to say hi to? When you were physically around, what did you do for a living? What did you love to do? Now, did you used to drive a car? What kind was it? Are you trying to make yourself appear in the water for Dom and Jer? Would you be able to try doing that again, please? Be much appreciated. So who is around Dom and Jerry right now? Are you the ones that usually try to attempt to communicate with them? Were you ever married? Now, do you miss your loved ones, or do you still check up on them? How well have you been able to adjust yourself to where you are now compared to the way you were before? Did you find it hard to do, or are you still adjusting? Now, I asked a question last week. When we were all in communication, let's say via Skype, the three of us, well, actually the four of us, Jared, Dom, Scott, and I, are you able to jump locations via the internet or such like that? Would you be able to try to manifest and show yourself in the water for Dom and Jared? Has anyone ever tried this form of communication with you before? If so, were you successful at it, or did you find it hard? No. Where you, like, the way you are now, do you ever feel like, get the feelings of being tired or cold or weak or anything like that anymore? Can you tell me right now, who's our president or prime minister, depending on actually where you're from? Is there any memories that you'd like to share of when you were around? How the era was, what you liked about it, such like that? Do you find it's easier to communicate in some forms, easier than to communicate in other forms? If so, what's your preference? What's like for us to use? Would you be able to try again to show yourself in the water there? Did you ever have any kids? If so, how many? Are they still around now, or? I'm going to ask you a couple of more personal questions. Where were you born exactly? Do you have any recollection of your childhood? Where you used to hang out, play? Who were your closest friends back then? Can you remember their names? What did you guys do? What was your most favorite place to visit? Did you ever have anything like a Lucky Charm or anything like that you used to carry around with you? We think we might have seen you appear once there. I'll ask again. Would you be able to try your hardest to appear in the water there for us? Manifest? That'd be much appreciated. Are you able to tell where Scott is right now? Or would you be able to name somebody that's with him? Is there anybody that hangs around Scott all the time, or are you someone new to him? Now, is there anything you'd like to say to Scott? Okay. What's it like on the other side where you are? What's it like over there? Can you explain it to me? Have you ever done anything like hide stuff or be mischievous? Actually, okay. Okay. I'd like to thank you very much for letting me try to communicate with you. I'm going to swing it back to Dom. Thank you very much.
All right. And thanks everybody for watching. And if you saw anything, please let us know the time that you saw it, and let us know what you saw and so forth. And Chris Walsh, I'm gonna give a huge shout out. He put a 3D built image of some of the water ITC we did from our first episode of doing it, and it was actually through Windows 10 3D app builder, which I didn't even know existed. I haven't played too much with the Windows 10, but it was pretty awesome. What we actually were able to see out of it, it looked like a skull. And if you're interested in viewing that, it's on Upstate Supernatural. I believe it's on our group page, and you can view that from, it was about 2 weeks ago that we had that on there. And I did want to give, but yeah, I mean, it was, I just saw something with Windows 10, and but it was really fascinating because it showed a skull. So I mean, it was pretty interesting. And I'd like to go ahead right now, and I'd like to play a kind of like a promotional thing for other channels, for individuals that have helped support us within the field, and they've been supportive of other channels. So I'd like to showcase that. And we do this pretty much each week, and there's going to be one coming up of, you know, some of the other channels that have been there and helped us along the way and kind of just been supportive, and I'd like to give them thanks and praise for that. So, Jer, if you don't mind, go ahead and click that. Each week, we would like to showcase and say thank you to those that have supported us throughout our journey within the field. This week, we would like to honor and say thank you to Spooky Raven. Spooky and Raven do a YouTube series known as Anything But Ordinary, which you can view that every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern or 8 p.m. Central. These shows are talk shows of famous unsolved mysteries, famous hauntings, all of which are very interesting, and they make it a very interactive experience throughout their whole show. You can also find Spooky Raven on their own website. You can find it in the upper part of their link on YouTube. It'll take you to Anything But Ordinary 2.wix wix.com/anythingbutordinary, where you can find upcoming shows, previous shows, and there's even a backup player and chat. You can also click on there and listen live. They also have their shows and other findings from their shows on SoundCloud. If you'd like to find them on SoundCloud, type in Anything But Ordinary or go to soundcloud.com/Raven-1. Don't forget to check out as well their Facebook, and don't forget to jump over there and give them a like. Each week, and I apologize about that. Actually, the video does move when I did it. Within the next week or so, I actually have to switch over a different video card. Our video card that we're using on this computer that we're streaming with is, well, kind of lived its life and it needs to be retired. So I need to replace that within the next week or so.
There's Workhorse, and then there's what you've asked that video card to do.
Well, I mean, with any of the streaming and so forth, I've definitely put some wear and tear into it. And, a lot of the individuals out there using their laptops and stuff, that they're going to have to replace them as well eventually, because it will wear and tear your system. I mean, it does take a lot of bandwidth, especially when you're streaming a multicast. We're doing Ustream and YouTube. So it does take an extensive amount of performance out of your computer. But we're going to go ahead, and I just wanted to give a shout out for that. And we didn't do it early on, and I want to give a shout out again for for Scott and James. I can't thank these guys enough. Same with Jer for being a part of this show, helping it become what it is now. It definitely had a rough start at first, and it's built up to something that I'm very happy with. I'm very proud of, and I can't thank all of you enough. It definitely has turned into a beautiful flowing show, and we're getting great results. And I mean that's always one of the better parts too. And it's never guaranteed to happen, but it's still awesome in its own right. And
I definitely have to thank you. I mean, I know these guys are going to thank you too, but for sure, I wouldn't be anywhere near the paranormal field at all if it wasn't for you. So I appreciate being here every week, even though I don't feel like I contribute much. I'm trying, and I do enjoy being here. So at least there's that.
Well, I'm going to switch over to Scott, if you don't mind doing another EVP session. And
yeah,
and go ahead and switch over to you.
Not a problem. I just wanted to again say thank you, Dom and Jared and James and everyone else that supports all of us. It means a lot. Without further ado, let's do an EVP session. Good evening, spirits. I'm here again, and in Michigan, and I am having a blast being able to be here. If there is a spirit here with us currently, can you tell me a little bit about you, who you are? Can you tell me how old you are? Did you follow me from my house in Arizona, or do you reside here? Are you going to be following us to Mansfield? Now, I'm going to try something a little different here. I actually had a name of an inmate there at Mansfield that came across my recorder every time I went to a different part of the prison. Now, I'm going to say his name. Lockhart, if you're listening and you're here, can you make your presence known and say your name? If you're another inmate from Mansfield, what is your name? Well, what I'm going to do now is play this back to see if I heard your voice. There is a number of us here. You're more than welcome to communicate with any of us. We mean no disrespect or harm. We're just here to communicate with you and be able to share your story.
Good evening, spirits. I'm here again and in Michigan, and I am having a blast being able to be here. If there is a spirit here with us currently, can you tell me a little bit about you, who you are?
Right there.
A little bit about you, who you are?
I apologize, it's so loud.
Can you tell me how old you are? Can you tell me how old you are? Did you follow me from my house? Can you tell me how old you are? Did you follow me from my house in Arizona, or do you reside here? Are you going to be following us to Mansfield?
Right there.
Are you going to be following us to Mansfield? Now, I'm going to try something a little different here. I actually had a name of an inmate there at Mansfield that came across my recorder every time I went to a different part of the prison. Now, I'm going to say his name. Lockhart, if you're listening and you're here, can you make your presence known and say your name?
Ooh, that's clear. That is clear.
If you're another inmate from
Right there.
If you're another inmate, if you're another inmate from, if you're another inmate from Mansfield, what is your name? What I'm going to do now is play this back, see if I heard your voice. There's a number of us here. You're more than welcome to communicate with any of us. We mean no disrespect or harm. We're just here to communicate with you and be able to share your story.
All right, Dom, that's everything I have currently here. I tell you what, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I definitely heard some anomalies on there. Jer's right here. He just he was unmuting the Skype. I definitely heard some crazy stuff in there, and don't forget, each week we do showcase the evidence from the week before. And if you guys came in late, I'm actually going to do something we haven't done in the past, and I'm going to play it again for anybody that kind of came in late. I'm going to play some of the evidence from last week, just so, if you missed it, you have a chance to view it. Here you go.
This evening.
I'm hearing I'm doing just fine. That's what I'm hearing.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm hearing I'm doing just fine. That's what I'm hearing.
On that screen.
Right there.
On that screen.
Do you just come to visit, or are you always around us? Do you just come to visit, or are you always around us? Were you ever married? And if so, how long? Were you ever married? And if so, how long? Do you ever get frustrated when we try to communicate with you? Do you ever get frustrated when we try to communicate with you?
How are you?
All right, and I'd like to, go ahead and say thank you to everybody for tuning in this week. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have Spirit Box Weekly. We're going to be testing out the 12-808 Radio Shack Optimus, which it's our last week testing that. So if you haven't seen us test it, we've gotten some decent stuff with it, actually. And actually at Rolling Hills, we got some crazy footage from it, which I will be putting out there fairly soon. And I'd like to give huge shout out to everybody that's doing this. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Ustream, don't forget to click and subscribe either to Live Paranormal or to us. And don't forget to check out My Paranormal Corner. Check out the website, check out the YouTube. Scott has put a lot of work into it, and he's got a lot of great footage on there. He's got a lot of EVPs, a lot of outstanding locations that he's been to that not many of us have.
Yeah.
And, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. And you can find us on Facebook. Just type in Upstate Supernatural. You can also find Scott, My Paranormal Corner. You can check out our website. We just revitalized it. That's upstatesupernatural.com. And Scott's is myparanormalcorner.com. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support. I'm going to swing over to Scott and James real quick. Scott, you're on, bud. Your audio's muted.
Sorry about that. Just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody on YouTube and everyone in the Live Paranormal chat room for coming out. And send a huge shout out to Dom and James for all the support and everything. I do also want to say thank you to Rob and Amanda here, and everyone's kind of downstairs here hanging out. They're actually behind the scenes behind me over here in front of me. But thank you for opening up their home to us being able to do this.
And James, you're on, bud.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out there. I'd like to thank everybody on YouTube for checking us out. I think it was a great show tonight, Dom, and I agree with Scott. It's always a pleasure working with you guys. And Scott, this weekend, I hope you have some fun there. I really do.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the evidence you're going to get. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So, no, everybody, I hope you have a great night. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow night at Dom's show. Have a great one, everyone. Dom?
And again, everybody, Scott is at Michigan. He's going to be going to the Ohio State Reformatory. So keep an eye out on his Facebook. Keep an eye out on his website. He will probably have little updated videos. I love that he does that on his Facebook under Scott Latia. Does kind of his little updated videos, kind of giving everybody a little information about what's going on. And he has some great interviews that he has also had the chance of doing. And those will be coming out eventually as well. And I look forward to seeing all that. It'll be on probably his website. It'll also be on Live Paranormal. So without further ado, I'd just like to give everybody a huge thank you. And hope everybody has a beautiful night. Hope to see you tomorrow night. If not, have a beautiful weekend. And do not forget, Sunday, Interview the Skeptic. It's going to be a crazy show. But it's always fantastic when I can find a guest. And I'm looking forward to everybody getting to hear his opinion and hear his viewpoint. So don't forget to check that out as well. That's Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Central. So everybody have a beautiful night, and we will catch you later.
That would be 5 series is a 5.4 bit range. So basically what it is
Hit the top title, the first title.
So it's like